Alrighty, howdy. What's up, everyone? So, hi. How y'all been? How's your Wednesday going? Welcome back to another stream. I just wanted to come in here and hang out. Yeah, something easy. Something not too terribly, thought-provoking, I suppose, but a little bit, you know, chill. Yeah, I got some dailies I gotta do. I wanted to say hi. I hope your Wednesday's going alright. Mine's going. So we've got a few things to kind of talk about, at least in the world of, you know, Final Fantasy XIV and everything. So we'll just kind of, you know, go over the news, talk about some other things, some plans of what we've got going on in the future of the stream over the next couple of over the next hour or so. Yeah, like I said, it's a chill day. So most of what I've been doing the past couple of days has just been working on some logos, some background things, you know, nothing too terribly exciting or surprising, I guess. I mean, I guess it can be exciting if you're into new logos, I guess. But yeah, just a few backend things to kind of get the stream back up and running, so I can do some Zatsudan streams and that kind of thing. For right now, this is still kind of the holdover, the placeholder for Zatsudan FF14. I don't want to chat, don't know what to do, don't have a background. FF14. That's how these things usually go. But I am excited about it. I think once I get a nice background done, we'll probably do a guitar stream at some point. It's just, you know how it is. It's no fun seeing a VTuber in front of, you know, a big black screen. Where's the excitement in that? So it's not going to be super fancy. I mean, I'm a fast designer, but I'm not necessarily a good designer, if you catch my drift. So we'll play around with that a little bit later, and yeah, we'll see how things go. I do have to work tomorrow, so if I do a stream tomorrow afternoon, it'll probably be later in the evening. But there are a few things that I've wanted to do with the guitar that I have not done in a while, especially now that I've got the VTuber avatar. So it should be pretty fun. I've just got to clean up a couple of things and really kind of deck out the... Okay, what do I need here? The audio recording equipment. Okay. Yeah, just kind of deck out the background and deck out the stream a little bit, but it should be fun. I've been trying to learn a couple of new songs, so we'll see how that goes. Oh boy. The years that I went without really picking up the guitar a whole lot have come back to bite me in the ass, but I'm slowly getting back to where I wanted to be. And yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun to do some music stuff finally with the VTuber avatar and have some fun doing that. What do I need? I need audio recording equipment, high quality, and cleaner upgrade component. And then I've also got my weeklies to do as well, so we'll probably do that here in a little bit. I really had no plan for what we would do this stream. But yeah, so that might be tomorrow night or Thursday. And then now that I have my logo finished, or at least mostly finished, we can finally start FF7. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We'll be able to continue my complete Final Fantasy playthrough stream. I've been looking forward to really getting into the weeds with FF7 for quite some time, but with the new avatar and rebranding, of course, it's going to take a little bit more time to kind of redo the little background that I had and just kind of clean that up a little bit and just make sure that it looks nice. I mean, you're going to be staring at it for many hours with FF7, so I want to make sure that it's not eye cringe or anything along those lines. But yeah, it's been ages since I played FF7, so it's going to be a lot of fun. I don't really remember a whole lot about the back half of it, so that's all going to be new. That's going to be a nice retread. You know, I did want to kind of talk about my experiences playing through the first 6. You know, I never really did a recap of essentially the first third of the Final Fantasy playthroughs, have I? So if you're new to the channel or you didn't know, I'm playing through all of the Final Fantasy games, all of the mainline games, right? Basically the number titles and their sequels. So I am including like FF10 to FF13 to Lightning Returns, all of that good stuff. But I'm not including 11 or 14. 11 because it's another MMO with a subscription. And then 14 because obviously we play that more than enough. But yeah, I never really did a retrospective of the first 6 FF games. I've mentioned a few times just kind of casually talking about it, but I really have enjoyed the experience of playing through the first 6 and seeing just how the series has evolved from way back in 1. You know, 1 was very rough. It's iconic. It created what we know today, but it was rough. It is very much a product of early NES era video gaming, right? But even within those bounds, it was pretty impressive just how much it was able to fit into it and how iconic it really became. Like, it's really no surprise after playing it and comparing it to a lot of the other games at the time, just why it was so instrumental into kicking off one of the most successful franchises of all time. I mean, even comparing it to something like Zelda, I feel like it was doing something a little bit different with how it was trying to create its story, with some of the things it was doing with exploration. Very impressive all around. And then just seeing how that template evolved over the next 6 games, it's really impressive going from FF1 to FF6, right? Obviously 6 I think was my favorite. 4 and 5 were probably the big surprises, probably more 5 than 4, but I can see why 4 has so much love in the video game world, especially among the Japanese devs, you know, especially among the 14 devs. You can see a lot of references and a lot of love for 4 with what it was doing as really the first SNES Final Fantasy game. It was a little rougher around the edges than 5 and 6, but a lot of that I think was because the console was new and they were still trying to figure out how they could really push the limits of it, right? So you've got to give it a little bit of leeway for that. Obviously, games that come out later in a console's life are going to be bigger and grander and just a little bit more technically involved than games that come out at the beginning of a console's life when everyone's still trying to figure stuff out. But 4 was definitely good. And then 5 obviously is fantastic. I think 5 is really the first one to me that really showed exactly what a JRPG story could do. Like 4 was definitely almost there. It was very fun. But in terms of characterization, it was still, you know, the characters were still relatively flat. You know, compare that to 6, where you have all of the side stories going on and you can really delve into the backstories of each and every character on your team. 4 definitely had a ways to go in terms of that, right? But it was still fantastic, still iconic, and I really don't regret going through in doing this project to see all of these things basically in real time. Obviously, with them being pixel remasters, there will be a little bit different compared to what you experienced when they first came out, right? I've played emulated versions of the first game before. It did not go well. I think just getting to the first bog, the first swamp, took about as much time in the original version as it took me to do the entire playthrough in the Pixel Remaster. It was very, very rough. It was not really balanced. Everything was super expensive, and you didn't really get a lot of gold for doing a whole lot. So I'm very happy that the remasters have come out. I think, you know, 2 and 3 I had fun with if you go back and watch my VODs, right? I did enjoy them, so don't get me wrong on that. But I think you can kind of see how they were kind of the forgotten ones over the course of time. 2, I think, was probably the roughest. I feel like I was kind of lashing out and giving my thoughts on 2 in real time when I was doing that playthrough with how the job system worked and just the sheer amount of random battles. And yeah, it was probably my least favorite of them looking back on it. I don't know what I'm doing. I need to go to Sildiv. Where are you? Or Lita Roland. There we go. But I can definitely see why 2 and 3 have kind of been forgotten to time. I do appreciate just for the sake of archival purposes that they did do the remasters for all of them. But I don't think I can really see myself going back and playing through 2 again anytime soon. And 3 felt, you know, kind of like a retread of 1, I guess, which technically I think it was. A little bit more involved. But still, nothing super spectacular. 4, 5, and 6, I think, are iconic at this point. Even with them being a little bit more rote in terms of certain things, they still had the big moments. Obviously, the battle on the big bridge and so on and so forth. You know, these things that we attribute with the Final Fantasy franchise nowadays came from them. Even if some of the characters and whatnot were kind of like, you know, not necessarily as deep as we expected. But you can still, you know, they were deep enough that you can still make memes about Galuf, right? Okay, so we need Verberite Cuisine. Okay, so I need 6 of those. Thankfully, I'm way more than high enough level at this point that I don't really have to worry too much. I'm just really trying to get the white script so I can finish up these last few bits of the, what is it, Splendourous Tools, I think. I'm doing pretty well in terms of the other ingredients, but I still need a little bit more white script to be able to purchase the vendor bought items, right? Okay, where are you, Andon? Okay, classic Verberite Cuisine. There we go. We'll do that one. I think that'll be fine. Whoops, maybe not. That was way stronger than I thought it was going to be. Okay. That's fine. We didn't really lose anything from it. But yeah, 6 was obviously my favorite. I mean, it's one of my favorite Final Fantasy games just in general, and I feel like that's kind of the case for most people at this point. It's just it's so good. It really is. It's just so good. We'll do that. Let's see here. I don't think I'm gonna need to do anything weird or wacky with any of this. There we go. Yeah, 6 was definitely iconic for a reason. I mean, it just really was the whole package. You've got everything going on with your characterization, the side quests, the backstories, the big moments, the iconic villains. Just wonderful. Just wonderful all around. But I think the biggest thing to me more than anything is being able to appreciate a lot of references that kind of flew under the radar for me playing FF14 because I'd never played the original games. Like, I wouldn't understand what's kind of special about all of the trials from this expansion if I had not played the original Pixel remasters at this point. I don't know why I did that. I completely fucked that up. Okay. Boom. Boom. Okay, there we go. So yeah, with Golbez and obviously the 4 elemental bosses, it's a lot of fun seeing them back and seeing them now again. You know, I've mentioned it before on stream. I really don't think that it's going to continue on into the next expansion, which obviously we should be finding out what's going on with that at FanFest coming up here in a few months. I don't think Golbez is really enough of a villain to carry it through an entire expansion, and the fact that we've already been through all of that if you've played the original. So I think something's going to happen to kind of change things around, and I don't know what's going to go on with Zero and all of that. But it is a nice little reference for the post-expansion content. I just wouldn't want it to continue any further. Otherwise, I would just play the original at that point, right? So, yeah, I think that's really kind of my overall thoughts so far. Just really enjoyed it. Just really had fun seeing the progression of everything going on and how the franchise has grown over the years into what it's become. You know, at this point in our playthrough, we're in essentially what is the golden age of Final Fantasy. I really think 4 through probably 10 is what a lot of people would consider the golden age. 12 feels kind of divisive, but I hear mostly good things about it, right? So we'll see if that falls into the pantheon or not. And then you get to 13 and 15, which we'll be playing them. But that's really about all I can say about them, right? Okay. But as we move into, you know, the PlayStation era, it's also going to be interesting to see how things progress into the 3D era. It's been a long time since I played FF7 and a long time since I've really played any of the 3D Final Fantasies that wasn't 14. So we'll see how things hold up. Obviously, we're going to have to deal with Cloud's block arms for a little while. The B thorax of the models. But overall, it's going to be fun to see, and it's also going to be interesting to see the differences in just tone. You know, the SNES and NES era really had the fantasy tinge to it, right? It was very much fantasy. And then you get to FF6, and things start changing real fast. You know, we had other bits of sci-fi and magitech and that kind of thing throughout this series, obviously with airships and all of that. But FF6 really kind of took it and turned it into that blend of sci-fi and fantasy that we know today. And to be honest, there's really not a whole lot of other franchises, both in literature, in video games, movies, you name it, that has really been able to blend the sci-fi and the fantasy quite as well as Final Fantasy has. To me, it's almost... they're almost inseparable at this point. You know, there's always been a lot of people coming out and saying, oh, well, this isn't Final Fantasy, or this isn't Final Fantasy. It seems like every number, that's what we end up seeing. And we're already seeing it a little bit with FF16 on the horizon. Well, this isn't Final Fantasy. This isn't what I grew up on, right? But playing through the originals, like, you can see how things have changed pretty drastically through the course of just through the pixelated era. Like, every single version of it had some pretty massive changes, whether it was the job system, the magic system, the storyline, the tone. Like, if we're going under, oh, well, this isn't Final Fantasy, then 6 would definitely not have been Final Fantasy. Looking at the original 5, and then jumping into 6, and you've got the opening with the Magitech armor and steam engines and a phantom train that you fight, right? like if you're going under like, oh, well, this isn't fantasy enough, then FF6 is definitely not a Final Fantasy game. But I don't hear many people making that argument for a pretty good reason. And that's because FF6 owns. And then we're going to get into FF7, which takes that even further, right? You know, I think there's always an argument that, yeah, I would like to see more of the fantasy elements come back because it has leaned pretty hard into sci-fi over the past while, right? It's it's always been a part of the franchise, but now it almost feels more like a sci-fi franchise than a fantasy one. But I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. As long as the game is good, that's all that matters. Because Final Fantasy has never been stuck under one particular box under all this time. But the idea of like just rejecting anything after a certain point because it doesn't meet your nostalgia, like I just don't get it. I really truly don't get it. I mean, just looking at it, if you're going under the nostalgia premises, there were almost 10 years between the first Final Fantasy and FF6, right? Like it was not a short amount of time by any means. So for the people who are stuck on nostalgia, then FF6 definitely should not have been what you remember as a Final Fantasy game. Let alone you get to the massive wave that was the PlayStation era, right? So yeah, I think this has just kind of given me some new perspective about the franchise as a whole, about how it goes about its storylines, about its tone, and so on and so forth, right? And I'm excited to see what comes next. I'm excited to get into 7 again. It's not my favorite from what I remember, but you know, I'm older now and I can follow stories a little bit better than I could in my high school days. So maybe now that time has passed, I'll have a little bit better perspective of it, right? And then 8 I've never played. 8 always seems kind of like the odd man out. Like not necessarily bad, but trying to follow 7 and then having 9 immediately come after it. It's yeah, it seems like it's kind of forgotten a little bit. It seems like the junction system is very divisive. I mean, I'm interested to see how that's going to go. But you know, the PlayStation era is going to be a whole nother leap forward in terms of what they do. Obviously, I played 10 before. It's up there with 6 as one of my favorites. It bounces back and forth, and you know, that's the first time. Ooh, that's the first time you get voice acting, as we all know from the memes. Looking forward to 10 because I won't have to do the voice acting myself anymore, right? But yeah, that was a whole other thing, and that was a whole other technical issue that they had to figure out with that too. You know, it's very rough in terms of the voice acting and how they handled it with the mocap and all of that. Very, very different. So yeah, that's a whole other leap forward for Final Fantasy, and you certainly don't hear people complaining about voice acting a whole lot. Maybe if they're a cutscene skipper in FF14, they might complain a bit. Okay, so I need luncheon coffer. So what do I need for that? Let's see. Luncheon coffer components 6. Okay. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now with the playthrough and what to expect, what I'm looking forward to. But overall, I really have no regrets whatsoever in terms of starting this project and seeing where it takes me. I'm ready to get back into it because it has been a little bit. It has been too long since the last time that I played. And if we're gonna get through all of them, that's oh buddy, that's still a long ways away. We might finish by the end of the year if I really push it. Remember, like and support the channel. That means more streams for you, and more chance of actually finishing the Final Fantasy project. Oh, buddy. Remember, hit that bell, like, subscribe, all of that. There you have it. There's my call to action for today. You don't have to worry about it again for the rest of the stream. But yeah, beyond that, it's you know, we've got some other good things coming up. I have been looking through the old Fiverr. Yeah, the old Fiverr. trying to look for model artists and whatnot, trying to play around a little bit in Live 2D. Just to expand the model a little bit, try and maybe get some little pasties that I can put on the model every now and then. I just like a big old burly Gandalf beard. That's really what I want. More than anything for Sea of Thieves. Just give me the big old beard and an eye patch. I'm really genuinely surprised that neither of those exist as part of just like VTube Studios, like complimentary items. So yeah, you know, it's a learning process. I can't say that I'm great at it yet, but you know, every day brings up a little bit new. But once I get this background made, we will finally do some ASMR streams maybe. Obviously, I don't have a 3DO or anything like that, but I do have this nice little mic. It'll probably have to be a late night stream, I guess. You know, if we're going to do ASMR, I don't want a bunch of trucks running around in the background. This mic does cut out most of that, but it still pops up every now and then with the low end. But we'll do some ASMR story time streams. I don't really know how ASMR story time is going to work. Main thing is that I've got to... Okay, this should be enough. There we go. Yeah, main thing that I've got to worry about is just finding the stories, because there are going to be stories that I've written, but I have to try and find some that have not been out for publication or anything like that. Like this is... It's basically going to be the B-sides. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of my best stories available for an ASMR stream because I've got them out submitted, right? So that kind of complicates things a little bit in terms of what I can actually read, but I think I've got a couple stories out and about that we can try and play along with, maybe some excerpts from my books or something. You know, just give it a shot. I've never done ASMR, but I think it might be kind of fun. It'll be a new experience. We can see if anyone likes it and go from there. If no one likes it, then that's fine. Maybe I don't have a good ASMR voice. I don't know. I really have to rely on you all to tell me what's working and what's not. Okay, so we're almost done here, and I've almost got enough white script to get all of this taken care of. I do want to run a couple of dungeons, try and get ahead on my tombstones for the next relic step. I know it seems kind of far away, but with how many tombstones I needed last time, I might as well just go ahead and cap them out, because it is going to be the next round of relics. The tombstones that are capped right now, they're going to become uncapped, and that's going to be the next step, right? So we've got to figure that out. I want to try and get as close to cap as I can by the time we get there, because I don't think I'm going to have to worry too much about the rating or anything like that. We'll see how things go, but obviously I don't have a static. I don't know how the next raid tier is going to look, or if it's going to even be viable through Party Finder. So I'm not putting all of my eggs in having the relic weapon basket, right? Or having the raid weapon basket. That's something we'll have to just kind of take it as it comes. So I'd rather just have the tombstones just in case and kind of go from there. Okay, now the other things that we needed to kind of talk about is obviously we've got some stuff coming up 10 days from now, somewhere. We've got 6.4 to look forward to. We barely finished 6.35, and here we are already at 6.4. So they have officially announced the next live letter, as well as Hatching Tide, which people apparently are having a lot of fun with already on FF14 Twitter. Because it is dyeable, by the way. But it is going to be a fun event, it looks like. Some fun costumes there. But we will try, keyword there, try to do a live watch along with my VTuber avatar for the live letter. I don't know how it's going to go. I don't know what time it's going to be in my time yet. I need to go back through and look over the announcement. There's a lot of factors that go into me doing a live watch along on the live stream. Most of it comes down to, hey, am I going to be working that day? And am I going to be dead tired if I do this thing? Right? So we're going to try it. I'm not expecting too much. we more than likely are not going to get the trailer for 6.4. You know, I mention this every time they do a big patch live letter, just kind of the breakdown on how they do things. But this is just going to be an overall introduction, more than likely, going over just a rough outline of what the big changes are going to be, if they're going to be doing any balance changes, what we can kind of expect from that. You know, things along those lines. Okay, so we are capped out on purple. That's good. I can go buy a few things of extra stuff there. Couple extra pieces of gear. That'll be nice. So yeah, we might get some concept art. Like, I'm one of the few that didn't do 2B for Emiliance, but that doesn't mean I didn't have fun. Oh, mama. But as I was saying, oh, buddy. As I was saying, it'll probably be some concept art. If they're going to be doing any balance changes, what to expect with the balance changes, any crafting changes coming up, they spend a lot of time on that. And then overall story things, you know, concept art of the next raid. Yoshi P might walk around the next raid area a little bit just to kind of show things off. But it's not super likely we're going to be getting... Is this like a new RP hangout? Have I missed something over the past 2 weeks? I haven't really played a whole lot of 14. I mean, it's Balmung, so I have to assume something's happening. But I'm not sure what. I don't see anyone chatting. So, okay. Well, now I know this is a thing. Next time I do want to hop in and actually RP, I guess. I'm honestly surprised. You know, that was an issue in WoW, is that no one ever wanted to break away from the usual RP hangouts. It was always the Wyvern's Tail or Mage's Quarter. And Final Fantasy XIV is kind of the same way. Just the general hangouts is always the quicksand, right? So I have no problem if people want to start RPing here in Charlayan. Why not? Let's do it. Let's make some new hangouts in these new cities. Let's find one for Kugane as well. Cool. All right. Now we know. It's gonna back away slowly here. So anyways, as I was saying, live letter. Yeah, it'll be very basic overview stuff. I don't know how in-depth he would go into anything. If he did go in-depth on anything, it would more than likely be crafting and job changes. It won't be like the raid series or anything like that. But they also always have some nice surprises too. So there could be something coming from, you know, out of left field. Something that really none of us expected. Maybe some new stuff with the Island Sanctuary gets announced. But it's just the first part. They always do these big patches in 2 different parts in terms of live letters. The second live letter, a little bit closer to release day, is when we'll more than likely get the trailer and all of that good stuff. Where can I mend? There we go. But I am excited about it. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if I'm awake, but I am planning to do another live watch along of it, right? Okay, let me repair, and then we're going to head over to... maybe do a couple dungeons or something. I don't know which dungeon I want to do. We can do an alliance raid or something, I guess. Whatever gives me the most tomestones. What am I currently at? 671. Okay, I'm not going to worry about buying any new gear with it. I think it's a little too late in the expansion or patch to really worry about it too much. Yeah, alliance raids give me 50. We'll probably get Labyrinth of the Ancients again. Oh, wow, that was really fast. Okay. Well, I gotta find more things to do on stream. But yes, I am excited for it, though. I'm ready to see after this last patch what's going to happen with the story. I'm really curious what's going to happen to Zero. I feel some people are very scared about what's going to happen to her, and others are kind of thinking she'll become a permanent fixture in the game. What'd I tell you? What did I tell you? All right, show us those portraits. Which one of you naked lads took off all your armor so you would get this? Show yourself, cowards. No one in our group, it looks like. Okay, okay. They're getting wily. But no, it's gonna be interesting to see. I think the devs have said they didn't really expect Zero to end up becoming as popular as she was, so they don't really know entirely what's gonna happen. I mean, obviously at this point they do. They're far enough along in the story. They're already working on the next expansion, but you know, it wouldn't be the first time that they've had to kind of change things up a little bit based on audience reaction, right? I believe in them. Whatever path they take, it'll be interesting to see, but I would prefer if Zero stayed with us, because I do like Zero. But I could see her kind of going the same route as some of the characters from Alamigo, where they just kind of show up every now and then. I mean, at this point, as much as I hate to say it, at this point, even Lise is kind of forgotten about. So if they can get rid of one of the Scions, I guess getting rid of Zero isn't going to be too much of an issue. Just, you know, quietly shuffle her to the background. But in terms of the story, I am just really curious what it's leading up to. Like I said earlier, I just really don't think that Golbez is going to lead into the next expansion. Something's going to happen with the Void and all of the shards, and is going to lead us to whatever comes next. I really genuinely have no idea what that's going to involve. You know, I had a lot of theories from the expansion previews, right? From the Endwalker expansion previews. And pretty much every single one of them was wrong. So take my word for what it's worth, which is about dirt, right? All I'm doing is just spitting off right now. All I'm doing is brainstorming. No thoughts, only chat. There we go. I used to think that I had a reasonable grasp in terms of FF lore. Turns out that's not the case. I have a good grasp of how to play Red Mage. That's really about it. But in terms of the overall lore, oh buddy, I've been wrong plenty of times. So might just have to refrain from guessing this time, or just continue to guess and get a lot of downvotes for being completely off base. Why not? However, I did get some things to help me out. In case you didn't see earlier, I did get Naming Way. So I bought the first edition of Encyclopedia Eorzea. I had the second book already, obviously with my hat that I showed off a little bit earlier. Come on, Bone Zone. Ah, don't take them north. Okay. Cowards. Cowards, all of them. When I tank, it's Bone Zone day all day, baby. Okay. But yeah, I did buy Encyclopedia Eorzea. And then I also bought a really, really nice Barnes & Noble edition of the first volume of Sailor Moon, the manga. It has a little figurine that goes with it. I'm really excited about it. I might show it on Twitter or something. But it turns out Barnes & Noble's having buy one, get one half off manga until the end of the week or something. So yeah, it's been a chance for me to kind of dive in and maybe get away from manga decks for some of my favorite series. Unfortunately, the Sailor Moon box set is not included in that because it is technically a box set. I guess those aren't included. But all of the other mangas are. Like, if you just want to buy volume 1 of Sailor Moon, like that technically counts. You just don't get the figure with it. But it is a cute little figure. It's like a mini Nindo. Not quite as nice, obviously. This was only like $30. But it was very, very surprising to see it like still out on the shelves with everything going on with a sale. And yeah, it's officially the first manga I have ever bought. Kind of surprising, isn't it? Considering I am apparently making anime real. This was my first manga I've ever bought. I read it a lot on manga decks, but I've never actually bought any for myself. So I might go back and see if we have any copies of Chihaya Furu, because that's obviously, you know, that's one of my favorites of all time. Not just in terms of comics, but in terms of really the anime, probably more than the manga. Manga gets super explanatory in terms of the history of the cards and the poems. It's a lot to take in. So if you're not really big on reading a whole lot of sports strategy, it can be a bit much. The anime cuts down on a lot of that. But I might give it a look if they have it in. And then maybe Nagatoro, because that's like my favorite right now. Like, I am absolutely obsessed with that comic. I'm so far ahead of where the manga or where the anime just left off. It's so good. It's so good. I absolutely love it. And they did have a lot of the comics there, so I might have to splurge a little bit now that I have income. But beyond that, I don't really know a whole lot about what's going on in the manga scene. I know everyone's into Chainsaw Man. I read it every week. I'm caught up with it. I don't like the current arc as much as pre everything happening. I won't go into spoilers if you're still catching up on it, especially if you're watching the anime. But if you do read the manga, you kind of know what I'm talking about. I don't know. And just, maybe it's just too edgy for me. I'm not really big on, like, super gore and super violence, right? It's just not my thing. Especially in, like, a comic book form where it's very easy for things to get kind of muddled. There you go. Yeah, it could just be a little bit too hard to read sometimes, I think. And especially with the heavy black lines, it can look kind of messy, I think. Maybe it's just not my art style. I can see why everyone likes it. I'm not saying it's a bad series, but something about the current arc just felt a little off to me. I'm just not as super into it as I was. And maybe it's because I binged, like, everything up to where we're at now. And then I started having to wait a week each time. So I kind of forget what happens each week. Makes it a little bit harder. But yeah, it's not my favorite, but I do read it every week. Let's see. A Couple of Cuckoos is really good. I do read that every week. It does kind of fall into a lot of the same issues that I have with a lot of other, like, romance harem mangas, which is that it just takes too long. it just takes too long. Pick one. Pick one already. I don't know. That's always been, like, a big sticking point for me in a lot of things. Not just manga, but just movies and stuff, is just forced love triangles and forced, like, romantic drama. The CW effect, as it were, right? I'm not a super huge fan of drawing it out. I would much rather have a good story where they just realize they like each other and have a good time, which is kind of what Komi-san has done. And I do enjoy that a lot more. Okay, what's going on here? Come on, take down Thanatos already. There we go. But I do like Couple of Cuckoos. Now that they've kind of moved on from a few things, I don't want to spoil a whole lot of what's going on right now. But they've introduced, like, some pretty interesting plot stuff. Like, they introduced it ages ago. Ages ago. But it was always kind of a thing in the background, and now it's like center of what's going on. And this is like actual story drama going on, actual plot happening. And it's not even romance related. I mean, as much as anything with A Couple of Cuckoos is romance related, I guess. But yeah, it's really interesting, and I'm curious what's going to happen with it. Like, that to me are the best parts of a manga like this. Like, the harem stuff is okay. You have the curiosities in terms of who he's actually going to end up with, right? But I don't really like the forced drama aspect of it. But a lot of the other stuff going on with it in the background in terms of the plot is super interesting. There we go. Kaguya was like that too. I absolutely love Kaguya. And that one kind of did the forced romance a little bit, but a lot of the other stuff going on with the side characters is what made it interesting, right? And eventually they did get to that point where they were, you know, where the series was at a decent enough point that they didn't have to pull out the romance drama, and you could kind of focus on some of the other things going on a little bit more. So they definitely dragged it out, but not quite as much. I think a lot of that is kind of the same thing in terms of me having to wait a week. I can tolerate it a lot more when it's something I can just binge read. I think that's really what the main issue is. Like, Nagatoro is... I love Nagatoro. But I think a lot of that is also because it's not like a harem anime. It's not like a harem manga. It's just two idiots who refuse to just be upfront. Like, it's a lot better when, like, everyone but them realizes what's going on. And you're just kind of watching two people flail around. Like, I've been there. I've been in that position. So, yeah, it's a little bit funnier when everyone else is in on it, except for the two leads. I can handle that. That's funny. But also, there's more stuff going on with Nagatoro that's also super interesting in terms of their development and the plot and everything. Yeah, it's I think it really does come down to how long I have to wait to actually read it. I can deal with a lot of the romance stuff and a lot of the drama and CW-ness of it all if I can binge watch it all or binge read it all in like a couple of nights. Like, I can binge read a lot of manga. Here we go. As long as it's available. But once I start having to wait a week, it gets lost a little bit, I think. I just kind of forget what happens between everything else that I'm reading, etc., etc. And all of the hype that I had for certain plot points, you know, it kind of gets tempered a little bit over the course of 7 days to 14 days. I think, yeah, 2 weeks is kind of the standard for a lot of these. I don't need to get the Iron Giant. Don't worry about it. There we go. Behemoth's going down. Here we go. Nice. Oh, that was close. Yeah, we'll just go back to the front because that's where we're going anyways. Haha. Oh, Crystal Tower. It was a lot of fun playing through this. Through the original. And hearing the music and everything that I've heard so many times. I think I was pogging on stream about it too. But yeah, I really do appreciate Crystal Tower a lot more now. Yeah, I just need some new series to watch. Some new series that are like super long, preferably even completed, that I just never got around to reading. Or maybe series that never ended up getting an anime adaptation. That works too. I basically just go through and sort by top rated, you know? Top rated or most follows, and whatever happens to be on the list, if it sounds good, I'll go for it. But I've just been in a reading mood. When I'm not working on new stuff for the stream, I've mostly been reading. To be honest, I have not played a whole lot of video games off stream. You know, it used to be that I would end the stream, and then I would just immediately start gaming on something else, right? Just something for me, either FF14, getting some stuff done here, or trying out new games that might have potential for the stream, something like that. But I don't really do that as much these days. I've been reading a couple book series. I've got a lot of things I've got to catch up on in terms of reading. So I've just been enjoying some quiet nights out, and that might change now that spring is coming and it's going to be warm out. So disc golf season is upon me. Rip. But yeah, it's just been nice when it's like just a little chilly out. You know, just hanging out in the room and cuddling up with a nice book / Kindle. And enjoying some books. For being someone with a publishing degree, you would think this would be something I would do more often, but I've just really kind of fallen by the wayside on it. And I think that's kind of what got me back into it, is the realization that, like, oh, if the streaming thing isn't going to work out, this is like my actual job, isn't it? Come on, I can do this. There we go. Just barely, just barely. I was almost that guy. I was almost the one guy. So yeah, it's been nice. I can't complain. There we go. People are trying to get me into Brandon Sanderson at work. I've never read anything. I keep hearing the Stormlight series is like the must read. My coworkers have been telling me about this for years. Like way before I started working at a bookstore, they were telling me about it, right? We'll go with Battle Pope. Why not? So maybe that would be an opportunity. The problem is, and I don't know if Brandon Sanderson is like high fantasy or more like contemporary fantasy. Like I've kind of come to realize over the years, I don't really like high fantasy as much. Like, it used to be all about separate worlds and elves and magic and that kind of thing. And I still like that in terms of video game stuff. But nowadays, in terms of book, I like more like contemporary fantasy. I like fantasy that takes place just right here on Earth. You know, tell me about secret societies and vampires and werewolves and hidden underground places. Tell me what the libraries in Cambridge have. You know, things like that. I don't know when I started to shift. I think it's probably when I first started reading Neil Gaiman in my first go around in college. That's kind of what did it for me, right? So I don't know if Brandon Sanderson does more contemporary fantasy or if he does more high fantasy. But I might give Stormlight a shot. We'll see. I've just heard about it so much over the years. I don't even really know what the plot is. Everyone just keeps telling me to read it and they don't tell me what it's about. So I guess I'll just have to go and read the back cover, right? But that is something that I want to give a chance at some point or another. I've still got to finish reading Salman Rushdie and a couple other series on my Kindle, so it's going to take some time. I'm just one of those people that buys a lot of books, but I never actually have time to read them. Turns out reading takes time, even as a speed reader. It's a process. And then that doesn't even include all of the time that I have to spend writing my own books, right? That's well, buddy, if you want to do a Zatsudan about publishing a book, by all means, I can set it on the calendar, because I'll do some classes about that. I get super chat $300 a semester. And we'll do a class on how to publish a book. But yeah, so I really don't even have any idea like what any of these things are about. I just, does the cover look good? Does the blurb look good? Okay, let's do it, right? So yeah, but that's kind of what I've been doing. 7 minutes. Yeah, we can head back to my place and see what's going. Yeah, You want to go back to my place? I've got 4 hot tubs, you know. Yeah, I normally keep them open for my friends, but you know, I can reserve them for just us if you want. This is why I don't have a girlfriend. This is why I'm eternally single. Okay, where are we at? Have I made any money? I don't think so. I put some stuff up the other day, but no luck. Try to get rid of some of those materials that were going into the splinterous weapons without a whole lot of luck. But yeah, speaking of writing, I just have not really had a whole lot of time lately. And as much as this microphone helps, some of these motorcycles, man, it sucks living on a highway. It really does. I just, oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. I wish Namingway did. He sits on the ground every now and then. Sings a little song, I believe. But yeah, I haven't really had a chance to roleplay lately. It's, you know, ever since I picked up the job, I'm just so drained. Even when I have like Fridays and Saturdays off, I'm just like not in the mood to roleplay at all. I don't know why. Maybe it's just I'm too busy doing this or something else. But I would like to get back into it, see what's changed in the roleplay scene, see if there's any new venues up. I used to open this. I used to open my place, you know, whenever I felt like it. But my problem was that, like, I always roleplay overnights. Like, that's when I like roleplaying. That's when most of the people I roleplay with are up. But now I'm on a semi-normal sleep schedule, and to be honest, it kind of sucks. I've always been an overnight person, and I really like being up overnights. So not being able to hang out with my friends has just kind of killed the enthusiasm. Yeah. So yeah, I need to get back into it. I don't really know how things are in this scene. I know there was a lot of drama, right, about 6.35 and how there's just not enough content. I'm not even really going to step into that conversation because I don't think it's worth my time all that much, but what? That's really all I can say is what? I've been playing 7 years and I still don't even have all of my jobs at 90 yet. And there's not enough content. That doesn't even get to like all of the other things to do. Yeah. So needless to say, we will have plenty of Final Fantasy XIV content to do. I think a lot of that is coming from people who are Final Fantasy XIV streamers who are really mad that they don't know how to do variety streams. I think that's really what it kind of comes down to more than anything else. That's my general thoughts on it. But as you guys know, this is more of a home base to me than my primary stream. I will always be open to streaming other things and trying to make some good content and having fun with whatever game we choose to play. Which, speaking of, I think I only have one more, like, zone mission to go through on Deep Rock Galactic to finish this season pass thingy. So we'll probably do that at some point this weekend because I really want to get that done. And to be honest, I do actually really like Deep Rock Galactic. It's a lot of fun. I'm having trouble deciding if I like Deep Rock more or Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves, once I kind of realized really how to go about it off stream, I've really enjoyed it a lot more. I've taken off stream to just roaming around, finding ships and starting fights I can't win. I am the Chihuahua of the seas, and I have no problems with it. It's a lot of fun. I have nothing to lose and nothing really to gain even with how the game works. So I'm just starting fights. I went through and learned how exactly the matchmaking works. So I have a little bit better idea of what exactly is going on. So I guess you're in an instance and there are only 5 possible ships in each instance, I think is how it works. And a max of 16 people or something like that. I still have only really ever come across, I think, 2 others at once. I don't know what's going on with it, if it's just the times that I'm playing there aren't a lot of people on. But I have not run into like a big old galleon or anything along those lines. It's just been other little sloops like me. But it's nice to kind of have an idea of how all of that works, so I have a better idea of what to expect next time we play it on stream. But yeah, I'll definitely be jumping in and getting into scraps and just trying to find more and unique, creative ways to die and Sea of Thieves. But it is a lot of fun. I've had a lot more fun with it than I expected going into it. I don't know if Potion Craft will really be still on the docket. It's a nice chill game. It's a nice Zatsu game, so it'll still be there. But I don't really know what I'm doing in it, and I don't really know if there's much of a point to it, so we'll just have to kind of play that one by ear. But it's relaxing, I guess. But I feel like if I'm going to play relaxing and I have Game Pass, I should just play Power Wash Simulator, so we might do a little bit of swapping just for the sake of my hard drive space more than anything else. Just get rid of the things I'm not playing and maybe try out some new things until we really get into a rhythm of what's going on. I still have Minecraft to get into too. I want to do some more stuff in Minecraft at some point. I have plans to build just a big ol' underground observation deck. You know, back in the flesh tubing days, you saw me build that big ol' railway system down there. But there were a couple viewpoints in there that are just absolutely marvelous to look. And I want to make just a big ol' underground fortress viewing deck down there. I have no idea how we're going to go about it. I have no idea how long it's going to take. I don't have automators for pretty much any of this stuff. But I think it'll be a lot of fun. And Minecraft's always just a nice game to kind of hop into every now and then. But yeah, we'll just kind of play that as it comes. So, yeah. But beyond that, I mean, the main thing to look forward to is going to be some nice Zatsudans and guitar streams with a new background and everything coming up, and then obviously the live letter on the 31st. Outside of that, you know, I don't really have any particular game that I'm just like super focused on playing. I keep downloading Monster Hunter Rise, and then it'll get to like 22%, and I'm like, yeah, I really want to do this. And it's like, I don't know. Or Monster Hunter World, I mean. I can get Monster Hunter Rise. But I've heard it's just not as good as World in terms of just the play style and the really aggressive monetization of a lot of it. So yeah, I keep downloading Monster Hunter World again. And I get like halfway through, I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I've kind of done everything I need to do in that game. But, you know, if people like Monster Hunter, I guess I can always hop back in. Oh, wow. I was about ready to say goodbye to y'all for the night. I gotta work tomorrow, but I guess we'll do this. But I am looking for other games. I am always looking for stuff especially on Game Pass. I think Game Pass has some good stuff coming up that we might give a look. Hi-Fi Rush, we gotta finish Hi-Fi Rush. I'm mostly I'm just ready for Armored Core. More than anything else, I just want to play Armored Core. Please give us a release date. The fact that they already said 2023 on the announcement trailer means they must have been pretty far along on it, right? So hopefully fall at the latest. We'll just have to wait and see. But that one we're gonna go hard into. That and Starfield. I keep seeing Starfield trending along with some other things. But Starfield, I think we're going to have some fun with. If it ends up being any good. We'll see. We'll see what the reviews say. I don't know if that's going to be a preview kind of thing if I pre-order that. You know, given it is Bethesda and most of their games are pretty reliant on modding, it might be a little bit better just to wait for some good mods to come out, but I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But I am excited about Starfield. Okay. Here we go. Come on. Come on, buddies. There we go. I think running into these guys without a core ready to go. No thoughts, just red mage. Sadly, I don't think I'm gonna get the old watermelon mount. That's something that I thought about doing for like 2 seconds, and then I realized just how much Crystalline Conflict you've got to do. And I mean, I do love Crystalline Conflict a lot, but after that first season, I'm just burned out of it, man. I just really am. It's so much to deal with. Okay. I feel like this has been my expert roulette for somewhere around like 3 weeks flat. No joke. I'm genuinely kind of sick of seeing this dungeon. I haven't seen the new one probably really since it came out. to be completely honest. I really have not run into it in roulettes at all in a while. Here we go. Oh god. Gonna have to clip my nails before I do the guitar stream. I'm like trying to hit my keybinds and it just clack, 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 clack. It's me, the bog person. Just living my life. Here we go. There. Oh, my toe was in. Okay, that's fine. I'll survive. Oh, I actually have more than enough of these. Math, how does it work? Here we go. You know, I don't think I've ever been in a group that's actually managed to get 3 of these down before they come back up. I don't know why. I don't know if it's the groups or if it's even really possible. But they're not that scary. I don't know. There we go. Let them combine. Nice. Cool. I am excited to see what's going to happen with the final raid. You know, we left on a really big cliffhanger. I mean a really big cliffhanger, right? So, whatever's going on is going to be wild. I genuinely don't know where the storyline is going to go with this. But I am having a lot of... Sorry, truck. I am having a lot of fun with the storyline in it. A lot more than I thought. I mean, it's not going to beat Gaia and Reen. Nothing's going to beat the Eden series to me. That was just a fun storyline all around. Just a great raid series. A+. But it is interesting. We get to hang out with our Assing daddies a little bit longer. See what's going on with them. But yeah, it's... Oof. That cliffhanger. I feel like it's one of the few times I really need to go back and rewatch The Unending Journey for that clip again. Just to kind of remind myself what all was going on with it. I have not done the raid series, like the full raid series on any of my alts. I kept meaning to do it, and then the queue times have just been so long getting caught up that I never got around to it. But, yeah, it's a, I'm real curious what the concept art that Yoshi P shows off is going to look like. Because I feel like we're kind of out of the realm of the Dungeons and Chains thing, right? With the way they left that off. Like, what else is going to come next? I'm just kind of sad to say that I'm not as hyped about the next Alliance raid. I feel like this one went so hard with Euphrazine, with basically all of my favorite members of the 12, that I have nothing to look forward to. I mean, it'll be fun either way. They've made absolutely every battle an absolute banger. But my hype levels are not what they were compared to 6.3. But that's still, we've still got like 6 to 9 months to go for that, so... Make of it what you will. Here we go. I think I could finally start doing this. Alright, let's get this over with. This was probably like my least favorite boss of really most of the dungeons. I hate bosses where I can't cast for several seconds, you know? I have to interrupt everything to kind of turn around, but they're still targetable. Like, that's what makes it upsetting, is that I can still target her, but I have to turn around or I get frozen, right? Like, just make them untargetable. Please, for my ADHD, please just make them untargetable. I wanna futz around, you know? Oh wait, did I forget to use my embolden last time? That's fine. He'll live. There we go. Hey, we did it. But, you know, they could have some surprises. Like, I really didn't expect the dungeon that we got for 6.3. Like, just way off base from what I thought we were going to end up getting. Yeah, I think a lot of us expected kind of something in the void or something along those lines. They might have maybe mentioned that we were going back to Garlemald for the dungeon at some point in one of the live letters, but by that point it had been so long that I kind of forgot. So it was a big surprise for me to see us just like going up a mountain. And it was fun. I enjoyed going up the mountain. I thought the fights were really good. Goodness. There we go. Can't remember what's next. Oh, this is the lines again, right? Oh no, this is the... Look away. Ah, whatever, I tried. Huh. It has a little more leeway there than I thought, I guess. I feel like there's been quite a few times where I thought I was looking at it and it still dodged, so... whatever. I'll take it. I'm not exactly one who can be picky at this point with what I'm given. Alright, one more to go. We're almost there, guys. But yeah, I mean, what is everyone here looking forward to? I have to imagine the raid is probably like the big thing for a lot of people, but I don't know. I'm always curious to see where the community is at in terms of what they're looking forward to, because a lot of times, to be completely honest, it's very different than what you expect. Like, you go in expecting, oh, everyone's excited about the raid, but it turns out to be, you know, oh, the story, or maybe this one weird little bit of side content, right? I think that's what's so great about it, and why it's just kind of funny to say that there's not enough content, because there's just so many different kinds of things people like in this game, and it really kind of fulfills every niche, right? Okay. Yeah, I'll burn through them. I'll use my combo on the next group, because it gets pretty wild. You know, I know a lot of people were super excited about the deep dungeon, and that's probably the content that I've done the least of. Like, I did the runs on stream that day, and I really haven't touched it since. I haven't gone through to try and get any of the new items or anything like that, and that's something I got to catch up on. So, like, there's always something that I could be doing here on stream. Like, I never feel like I'm just out of ideas. I've always got something, some bit of content that I've got to finish at some point. The bigger question is just, for me, as a streamer, what are the queue times going to be for that content? And is it going to be interesting content? Although I guess that kind of goes by the wayside when the game is officially like a Zatsudan game for me, right? Like, at this point, I don't even know what's going on in the dungeon. I've played Red Mage so long that he's just kind of on autopilot and we're just chatting, right? It's hardly brand new MSQ reactions. You know, it's hardly sharing each other's tears and pain as we go through the storyline. And so, yeah, at some point, I guess we can kind of throw some other things into the mix and just see what happens. Here we go. I haven't even touched any of that. Oh yeah, buddy. Here we go. I love this music so much. I really do. It's so good. Yo. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, they did a very, very good job with the remixes, and it's just another one of those things, right? That I can appreciate now that I've actually heard the original. If I had not done this Final Fantasy playthrough, I would not know this track. And I would not appreciate it nearly as much as I do. But thankfully, I have played. And I do appreciate it. Because it's a crusher, man. It's a banger. Okay. Which direction is your little knife gonna go? Show us, baby. There we go. Alright, the only problem with this fight is I always have my core timing just completely messed up. Because I'd like to use it here every single time, and I just forget about it. I just head empty, just chat. Okay, we're doing fine. We're doing okay. I'm not concerned. I think this is probably even some of the lowest I've even ever seen a group get them before the ads come out, so. All right. Line them up, boys. There we go. Oh, yeah. Hit them all. Hit them all. Nice. I don't know, it's just such a rarity to have a fight with ads in this game. You know, that's common practice in WoW, but FF14 doesn't do it all that much. So it's just kind of nice. It's nice to stack the AoE a little bit. I need to go back and watch my playthrough to see how my voice for our buddy here compares to the actual VA, right? I don't know. I feel like I didn't do too bad. I don't think it was anywhere close to what it probably is here. I'm happy with it. This is why I'm not a professional, folks. There we go. Ayo. Nice. Easy game, easy life. And we'll calm our monk there. There we go. Good job, everybody. Anything good? No. All right. So with that, I think that'll be it for today. Just a little quick hello. A little wakey. I've been tired all day, and I've been wanting to stream, and I don't know. I've got plenty of sleep last night. It's just I'm just waking up tired. It is what it is. I do what I can. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed it. Saying hello. Now back to other work to go along with the stream. But yeah, thanks a ton for watching along with me and just kind of hanging out and enjoying me ramble a little bit. As always, you know, like, subscribe, follow the Twitter, all of that good stuff. And I hope you have a good rest of your week. I'll be working tomorrow, but we might try and do the guitar stream tomorrow afternoon once I'm back. It'll probably be like a late stream, like a late night stream, because I just feel like that'd be a little bit more fun. That's usually when I do the guitar stuff. But until then, just follow the Twitter and here, and I'll post it about an hour before we go up, right? So thanks a ton, everyone. I hope you have a good rest of your Wednesday and a good rest of your week. We'll make it through the rest together. And take care. Bye-bye.